All right, good morning, good afternoon. It's November 6th, 2025. I'm Shane, and this is Richard beside me, and we're the Rogue Traders for Gravity live stream for the week.
Yeah.
And we actually have a lot to talk about this week because we had some big drama, lots to talk about. And I think, I don't know what kind of liquidations happened, but there must have been quite a bit. I don't know if it was as big as the previous event.
Yeah, I think the liquidation heat map wasn't as deeply populated, maybe a couple of 100 million.
Everybody ran out of money from the previous one.
For sure, yeah.
So, all right. So, we're in a situation now where I feel like we're in a state of flux. We're at one of these inflection points. And, here, let me show the screen here. Oh, we are showing the screen. Okay, good. I didn't know if we were.
Yeah.
Great. So we can see, this is the hourly chart. And we can see, we were up around, 104, 105, whatever. And we took a big crapola straight down and through 100K. Now, we have the Rogue Trader Academy, and we do a daily live stream, or I do a daily live stream with a small account where it's an options account where I trade Bitcoin options. And I said on there that I said, normally if this was a stock or something, that 100,000 mark is like a big psychological number. People gravitate around that. But honestly, first of all, Bitcoin's not been around that much. And there wasn't a lot of liquidity in that area. So I thought, you know what? We got a chance that if we go down there, we might just punch right through. It's not saying it won't come back up, but I wouldn't be surprised to see like low 90s or even high 80s, even on a crazy wick. That didn't happen. They did punch it through, and it got down to 99, 98 and change, back up. They tried again, and it got rejected really hard, really quickly. It was like 3 a.m. I was awake for some
Wasn't this during the Korean market crash, the limit down on Korea? Right?
Yeah. It's but the KOPI is what's their Korean index called? I can't remember.
We should know because most of our audience are Korean, but
yeah, lots of Koreans. Man, those guys are degens when it comes to trading. Wow, it's like competitions. I think we need to go to Korea and hang out with those guys for a while. But the point is normally you'd expect it, but in this case, I was thinking, I think there's a good chance it might just run through, and it didn't.
Right.
It tested it and scared the bejesus out of people, and here we are. Yesterday was kind of quiet, bit of strength, and we went up to like 104 and change, and we've come down to 103 where we're at now. So what's my analysis on this? Well, something I'll quickly mention here. Let me go to like a 4-hour chart or something, and so it's So if we look, let me do a parallel channel just so it doesn't. Where's the parallel channel here? I got fib. I don't want a fib channel. Why can't I find a simple? Oh, it's up here. Sorry, I'm looking on the wrong. It's here. Should be here.
Parallel. Yeah,
where?
2 down.
There it is. All right. So we had this previous range here, right? We could say before we made this, breakout to these all-time high levels, and that was the range. We broke through it here, and then we kind of held that range. It dipped a few times, and it came down. Normally, in my experience, the market doesn't make a range. So let's get rid of this. So then it made a new range up here, and I'll just put, kind of roughly. It's oops, I'm having mouse issues today. We kind of had this new range up here. Normally, it doesn't come down and make a new range right underneath it. Normally, it's level. But we have to respect that this happened for a while. So a lot of people are thinking, hey, if we come down, we might make a new range down here or in the 80s or low 90s, and it very well could be. But is this just the first punch of a longer extended move? Are we going to test 100K again? I kind of think so.
Yeah.
I think, will it hold again and then bounce back up to 110? Maybe. Who knows? But there's a good chance we are going to get through that 100K. And that was just the first kick at the can. And I think we have to be aware of that. And I feel like we're probably more likely to go down than to go up. But we're just as likely to kind of go sideways for a while. And maybe, 98 to, 108 or something will sort of be the new range for a while. And then it'll make that decision to go down. Or maybe there'll be a news catalyst and we'll go back up. But that's kind of how I'm doing it. And what we've done in the account, so we took a bit of a loss on that move down. And I wasn't surprised by it. In fact, I kind of thought there would be. So we were saying, no, It's always my philosophy that the range holds until it breaks. So we were kind of buying, we weren't going heavy. The range broke. We took a loss. I flipped it short, thinking, okay, if the range is done, that's fine. But I had my orders to cover down mid 90s and it didn't quite get there. So then it came back up and we took a small loss again. But it wasn't a big position. We kind of got ragdolled. And I knew there was a good chance it was going to happen because when you get that initial breakout, there's a lot of battling between buyers and sellers. And I'm okay with that. So let's take a look at the liquidity heat map now. And I think this is really quite telling. It's quite interesting. So here, I'm not sure why it's, here, let me refresh it here. Okay, this is the 24-hour liquidity heat map. And we can see most of the liquidity is down here, 101 and a half, 100 and a half, so getting close to 100. And that's in 24 hours. We've got a little bit right here at 102 and a half. So I expect that's going to get, or 102, 102 and a half. Now there is some up here at 104, 105. Okay, not a lot. But I wouldn't be surprised if we punch this. So I actually want to get involved and be long. I'm going to start buying here in anticipation they're going to punch it and it comes back up. If it wants to run up, especially through 105, 106, I'll start to sell calls and I might look to buy some puts. Or if we're just trading on gravity, if you can just trade futures, if we get up to 106, 107, 108, something crazy like that, I'll probably short the market.
Yeah, for sure.
And if it comes down to 100, am I going to load the boat long? No, but I will take a long. And I think that's important. If we take a look at the 3-day, we can see a bit of a shift here. Now we've got a little bit of liquidity here at 100 and a half, which coincides with the 24-hour. But most liquidity is kind of down at 98. And I'm not surprised because that's right below where we dropped. I'll just take a quick look at a 1 week just for a little further view. And again, 100 and then sort of 105, 106. So I'm taking the view that that's probably going to be our range, even if it's just for a few days or a week or the rest of the month, unless it really if it wants to get through 100 and I go long at that area and we plunge through 98 and we're heading down, well, I'll either average in or I'll dump the position and I'll look for a new long. I'm not going to look to short it again like I did on the initial breakdown because we'll probably get whipsawed.
Yeah,
that's my thoughts.
There's been a lot of resistance on the way down. I'm looking at the sort of the macro market position. This is the Max Payne chart.
This is the Max Payne. So just so everyone knows, this is tomorrow's expiry, the next day, the next day, the next day, and then the end of the month. It's this. No, that's the 14th. The 14th. The 20th. Yeah, I forgot we're on November. The 21st. So these are the dailies, weekly, end of month. And then December is the bigger one. And we can see the Max Payne for this is up here around 108,000 for the end of the month when we get most options expiring. So end of this month, we're at 110. So basically what this is saying is at the end of the month, on the last Friday of the month, on the 28th, where is it going to hurt people the most if where the price is, if the price is at 110? So that's why I'm thinking,
Could get dragged up, you think?
Yeah, a 100, 110 range. If it wants to push up to 110, I'm perfectly happy to sell calls up at that area or start to hunt for a short for a mean reversion back down. And then we look at the end of the year, which isn't very far away. It's only 7 weeks or something away. 108. Max Payne 110 and then 108 for the end of the month. So I don't think it's going to run away up to 120 unless there's a news catalyst, and we'll just see if the 100K area holds.
Yeah, I was looking at the wider market. I don't see what news catalyst could come along to save Bitcoin at this stage. It sounds a bit pessimistic, but I don't know whether you've been following the Twitter and the news. We've had Sam Altman gaslighting interviewers about where they're going to make money. So he's the CEO of OpenAI, which is the centre of all of this hype in AI and driving stock market valuations up, which is also helping Bitcoin rise. You have the CEO of Palantir gaslighting interviewers on CNBC or CNN when they were asking where he was going to get his money from. and and he went into a big rant about how he was saving America,
Yeah.
but nothing about whether they were going to make any money, right?
And the funny thing is they came out with earnings earlier, and they beat, and the stock got pounded.
Investors hated it.
Signs of the bubble.
My feeling is that we are very close to US stock market rolling over because the AI bubble is going to pop. And what happened? So there's good and bad news from that. So the good news is that all the money that people have made in Palantir, OpenAI, Nvidia, and all the other bubble stocks have to put that will sell, and they'll put that money somewhere else. And some of that money may flow into ETFs and therefore into Bitcoin. The bad news is that before they do that, they will go into cash because they're not going to rotate immediately into other stocks, right? So it seems to me that unless there is some amazing news like Trump and Powell making friends and deciding that they're going to flood the US economy with liquidity and therefore the world with liquidity and therefore everything pumps. I can't see any upside catalyst at this stage for any market.
Maybe the Treasury, if it gets added to the Treasury or something. But I don't think it's time for it. I think they need to get the price lower first before that happens.
And they need to wash out all the existing whales, and because they can't, they can't let Bitcoin go to $1 million and have massive holders of Bitcoin becoming the richest people on the planet. And controlling world policy. That's got to be in the hands of the government, right? So. So I actually think that we will be lucky to see 108, 110 this year.
Yeah, and I think we'll aggressively sell calls there, or buy puts, or short the market.
And I'm positioned basically short at this stage. I mean, I'm happy to layer in more shorts as we go up, but I think the risk of a push down to 90s, even the high 80s, is almost certain at this stage.
And it may take some time to develop. It might do it over the course of 6 weeks, for all we know, versus having it happen in 3 or 4 days, which was happened in the past. And it's terrifying, and but it might be more of a slower grind.
But my feeling on this is that these kind of events here, look, this is uncannily common in stocks and particularly Bitcoin. This drop with immediate whip back up. This happens on the upside as well. You get these sort of 1 hour wicks, and they are always foretellings of what's going to happen in the future, and that's essentially guaranteed that we're going to have to retest this bottom level, and here we are coming in and retesting it during the Korean limit down. So what next? It's not healthy. It's not good. It's
I think I'm thinking the Korean. It's the KOSPI, KOSPI. Isn't that the Korean? Yeah. I've never traded that index myself, but I have been watching it because those darn Koreans. They're really affecting the market. Boy,
when you get the really big moves, it's always either Japan or Korea that drive it.
We're kind of lucky. We're based in Europe, so we're on both sides of the U.S. and Asia, so we kind of get see what's happening on both. The poor Americans, they wake up and oh my God, what's happened?
The world's ended.
Hey, do you want to take a look at immersive tools and we'll take a look at the vol surface and see what that's telling us?
What's what we're showing here? So currently at 102.8 vol surface. So again, my go-to metrics here are the 10 delta risk reversal. We're showing moderate pessimism, not overly pessimistic. A few days ago this was up to -14, so that was a bit more fearful.
What's the highest you've had it since you've been using this immersive tool?
I've seen it at -25.
Oh my goodness!
And that's always that's a reversal signal.
Yeah, absolutely.
That means people are panic buying puts.
Blood in the streets, got to buy.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing here, I'm seeing a funding rate of basically zero. I'm seeing futures trending, well, if you go to 5 days, trending down. Volatility rising when futures go down. It kind of tells me that people are only they've got their eyes on the downside, and there's no confidence in this market. That's the signal that's coming from here, and this is correlating with my observations of the stock market and the bond market and so on. And actually, also perceptions of it's quite telling. We just had the U.S. New York mayor elections, and the essentially the young of New York voted for a communist, which is kind of I don't think we can understate the significance of this. This is New York. This is New York. It's the capital of capitalism.
Yeah.
And the young people are voting for communism, and that tells me that they're broke.
And highly uneducated.
Well, actually, no.
No. They've never opened a history book in their entire lives, and they're talking about taxing all the transactions done on any exchange in New York. Can you imagine?
Well, that's going to cause all exchanges to move out of New York. Anyway. But the point is that this kind of thing only happens when people are despondent about their futures. Nobody votes for communism when they're optimistic, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm reading this as the young don't have any money, don't have any future. The stock market's overvalued. The properties market's overvalued.
Can't buy a house.
Right,
Yeah.
you can't get
The median age is now 40 years old before you buy a house in the United States.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and when people vote like this, they're saying, we don't care.
Yeah.
We don't care. We just want it different. Right?
Yeah.
Anything but this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that tells me that the global economy is therefore very likely to be in a very poor state in reality, despite all the high headline figures, and therefore macro down is obviously more likely than up.
Yeah, and communism is the ideology of envy, and it's I don't blame. It's hard. Life can be tough. Working and getting by, and when prices are so inflated, it's bloody frustrating. And in fact, speaking of Korea, I've seen lots of. I've never been to Korea. I need to go, but I've seen a lot of reports about very contrasting. On one side, they talk about what a well-organized, safe society, like women can walk down the street at night and feel okay. And then on the other side, how the youth are very despondent. They feel like they have no future. And I think that's the same in many places.
Yeah, sure.
But for some reason, I've seen it in Korea. And no wonder you get all these people who are, they're going in high leverage on, crypto or traditional stocks because they're trying to create something for themselves.
Yeah.
And, kudos to taking the initiative. But people around the world are like that. You can't afford a house. People living with their parents when they don't want to be. They're being forced in these situations. And it's very frustrating. Very frustrating.
And I think these things have a way of resolving themselves. So people our age are hoarding all the capital. We're degenerating into long Nvidia and reaping the benefits of that. But actually, that's all built on a massive Ponzi, and it's all going to equalise, and we're going to see that equalise in the market quite soon.
I agree with that. No, we don't want to get into the anomalies of the market and how there's a bit of a circular funding scheme going on. Yeah. But I will say this: when you talked about the AI bubble popping, that's really quite interesting because there's so much crap out there. Just like there's millions of tokens in the crypto space, but 99% of them are probably useless and going away. Just like back 100 years ago, there was hundreds and hundreds of car companies. Yeah. They're not all going to survive, just a handful. Same with any asset. But with AI, we've got all these companies that just attach AI on the end of their name just to get funding. Well, they're all going away. But at the end of the day, there is a real arms race between China and the U.S. Let's not beat around the bush here. And even though the AI bubble may burst, there's still going to be massive government inflow into certain companies. So while the broader market might crap, there's going to be certain companies that are going to either shoot up or resist that. So it's going to be a different type of a crash this time than previous because of government support for certain industry players.
And it's actually interesting that NVIDIA and OpenAI are already setting the narrative for government bailouts of their industries in announcements on Twitter and so on. And that tends to become normalised over time. The thing is, I don't. Yes, they'll get bailed out, but I don't think that will save the share prices.
Well, even the tide's going to bring down all boats. Just won't bring them down as much.
We've been here, I've been here 3 times. I'm old enough to have seen 3 major market crashes, and my feeling is that all the signs are here.
Sure.
that it's imminent.
Yeah.
Imminent.
Whether it's tomorrow, next month, or next year, we have no idea. Right. But it's got to happen.
And I noticed that we've only got buy orders in here, right? So we haven't got layered in sell orders yet. But and these buy orders are fairly close, and we've talked about the market dropping down to mid-80s, and here we are looking to buy at 100 and buy at 98. But these are short-term.
Very short-term. If I get filled on those, I'll be looking to flip them out at 103, 104, 105 type of thing on the way back up. Right. And if it goes to 110, I'm happy to miss out on that because I'll be shorting up there. Yeah. I don't usually float a lot of orders out. I'll add more orders because everybody can see the order book, and you don't want to be part of the liquidity gets punched. Like I don't mind being part of that liquidity,
right?
But I don't want to put my whole position out there for everyone to see. What was the other thing I was going to mention? I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah. But I think that even though we might see 70,000, 80,000, who knows? I mean, Bitcoin's famous for doing these crazy moves. Yeah. It's very difficult for people psychologically to go short the market unless they're super confident and sure. And in my mind, maybe the safer bet, especially if you have the account for it and you've got the time frame for it, is to wait for opportunities to buy the dips. Because there's always going to be bounces. Yeah. Even if it goes down to 50K, there's going to be bounces, and they're going to be violent and extreme. Mm-hmm. So if you're uncomfortable just riding the short, because we are susceptible to a crazy move up at any time, because there's so many geopolitical elements mixed in with Bitcoin.
There's also going to be people like me who are degenerating into selling short calls on options markets. Yep. And if the market does come up into our short calls, we're going to be forced to roll those, and that's going to cause movements in the futures markets, which is going to affect the Bitcoin spot market. Because actually, in thin markets, particularly as they are at the minute, options trades actually affect markets more than markets affect options trades. Mm. So there are definitely going to be people who overdo it and cause the market to get dragged up into a short squeeze. Mm-hmm. But those short squeezes, in my view, are selling opportunities, not buying.
Mm-hmm. And that's the same philosophy. If when we were talking about, so basically my view is that we're going to be in a range, maybe up here 107, 108 at the top, maybe 110 at an extreme. It could happen.
Well, I bet you $100, but I don't see 110 for the rest of the year.
I would fully agree, but I wouldn't be surprised if we had a quick wick up there to screw some people, because we saw the liquidity at 108,
okay. Fair enough.
106, 108. And we're probably going to hold the 100K, but I'm fully prepared that 100K is going to break. Yeah. And I'm just like when you said, if the price starts moving up, people are short calls, what do they have to do? They've got to buy those calls back. Yeah. And it's going to force people to buy the futures, depending on how they're hedged. Same thing on the downside. So if it breaks to 100K, there's a lot of people who are long there. Well, what are they going to do? They have to pound out of their position. They put pressure on the market, or people who sold puts there. Yeah. And the dealers bought them, right? Yeah. So everybody's got to hedge. And that accelerates the moves at those key inflection points. All I'm saying is I think we're more likely to go down than up, in my opinion. But I wouldn't be surprised if we went sideways in this new range from 98 to 105, 106, something like that. And that's the range I'll play until we break. If it wants to break down below 98, 97, I'll get out. I'll take a small loss, and I'll just wait and reevaluate. I probably won't short it at that time, even though there's probably a good chance it might run to maybe I'll have a small short. But I'm certainly not going to bet the farm on it. Yeah. And we'll wait and see if it settles into the low 90s, high 80s, and I'll be much more aggressive buying there, looking for a move back up to the 100. And I'll assume we'll reject off the 100 because support turns into resistance support, and I'll unload most of it there. That's sort of my philosophy going forward here. And yesterday, after we had that big move down, we tested through 100K, I was really surprised that the market didn't move a lot more. I thought we'd have some, test 100 again or way up, and it was quite calm.
A lot of, 100K is a very, very psychological level, right? And we had friends in our trading pit who had orders in 100,001 and 100,002, right? And that's a common thing to do. Mm-hmm. So people will have had liquidity waiting there, maybe in iceberg orders and so on. So it doesn't surprise me that it kind of bounced off that. And there are, I think there's a lot of whales who would stop selling at that point because they've psychologically fixed in their minds that they're trillionaires now and they don't want to exit for less than 100k, right?
Yeah, you don't want to be a lousy poor billionaire. That's crazy, right? And like I said, I was awake during this green candle right here. I was awake. It was 1:30, 2:30 in the morning or something. For some reason, I woke up. And I saw that go down. I thought, oh boy, here we go. All it did was touch the exact low of the previous candle and aggressively moved up. You could see the buyers just pushed one way all the way back up to 102 basically. I thought, okay, that was a firm rejection for now.
And I think when it does finally break through below 100k, that will become an equally firm ceiling. Because once it's chewed through all that liquidity, then there's no one left to buy, right?
Yeah.
And anyone who got in at 95 is going to feel lucky for getting out at 100. And anyone who bought at 100 and regrets it are going to be wanting to dump at 100 or 101,
just desperate to get out or get even,
get out,
Yeah. So. And if we come down to that 100k level again, it might test it, it might get rejected again.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not so crazy about shorting right away. I want a real clear conviction of going short. So if we start busting below that 98,000 level, I'd feel a lot better about taking a short into the low 90s perhaps.
Yeah.
But I want to see it really break and.
But we need to see. I think we need to see the US markets open to see what the reaction is. Because Nvidia was selling off. Palantir was selling off last night into the close. To see whether people get spooked. They probably won't, because it takes a few days for the zeitgeist to change, maybe a few weeks even. So I think we probably will go sideways. And once the mood gets colder in Wall Street, there'll be a final push up. Because there always is, to sucker people in, right? It's like the riptide before a tidal wave, and then it'll plunge. So when you're feeling like the danger is over, that's the moment to sell. In my view.
The other thing too is we've been in a real bull market for a long time, not just in Bitcoin,
everything,
but everything. And people get used to buying the dip. Buy the dip, and it always pays off. I mean, you might have to wait a few days or a few weeks or even a month, but it will always pay off. This psychological shift, some people are really quick saying, okay, we're in a bear market now. I'm only going to be selling the pops and being short the market. Most people, it takes a long time for that to shift to happen. And you're right, there's a lot of people holding who are just hodlers or whales, and they just can't accept. And they will not sell. Yeah. And they'll go deep, and who knows whether they get margin calls, whether they need the money, whether you're a miner. I don't know where the miner prices are at, where the price needs to be for them to be profitable, depending on where they're at. But it's an interesting dynamic with Bitcoin compared to some other.
Well, and I have some Bitcoin I bought at 85k a few months ago, and I've seen that go from 85k to 125k, and then back down to 103 and touch 100.
Did you buy with Sailor? Did you at the same time as Michael said? Because isn't that the level he bought some there? I think.
It was on a dip. It was back in July, August time, I think. Anyway, I was thinking to myself, what is my psychology on this? When do I want to sell this? I don't think the graph goes back enough far enough. It was down here, 75, 80.
This is the daily chart. Yeah.
It was here. Yeah. I'm pointing on the screen. It was on the way back up after that dip there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So I was thinking to myself, well, should I sell my Bitcoin? Because I've locked in 15, 20k of profit on that Bitcoin. Should I sell it? And I actually found it incredibly hard to come to the real. Even I couldn't find it in myself to take 20k profit. Yeah. It's 20k profit, for goodness sake, right? Yeah. Why wouldn't I take it? Particularly when we're going to go into a region at a time when cash is going to be scarce. So, but it takes weeks for people to finally give up and lose hope and dump their positions.
On an earlier episode we did, everyone's got a Bitcoin story. How I was going to buy it in 2014, but I didn't, or whatever, or they spent it on something stupid.
Right.
I saw some little thing on Instagram or something the other day where it showed a girl and she had 900,000 Bitcoin, and they were saying, "Can you imagine if it goes to $100?" So I've been trading a long time, And for something to go from, $10 or whatever price you got in, to think about that going to 125,000 is ridiculous,
Yeah.
especially in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And I think to myself, like I always regret, we always kick ourselves like everyone does. But let's just say I had 100,000 Bitcoins. I know that if it would have, let's say I bought it at $1 or $2 and went to 10, I probably would have sold most of it saying, well, I'm an experienced trader. This is ridiculous. I was 10x.
Yeah.
And I would be kicking myself that I didn't hold it.
Well, you'd be terrified that you'd lose your 10x. I mean, if
that's just it.
You've gone from $1 to $10 to $100, and you're sitting on profit of $1 million. Then and you're thinking, well, what if it goes back down to 10?
Exactly.
I'm going to lose $900,000.
Yeah. You wouldn't think that million would turn into $1 billion. That's ridiculous, right? That's why I'm a big fan of scaling out of positions.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So take some off the table, let some ride.
Yeah.
So I always kind of wonder to myself, what would I have done if I had loaded up with thousands of Bitcoins?
You'd have sold it and bought a car. Right.
Maybe, yeah. Went on a holiday and probably gotten beaten up or something. All right. I don't know if there's much else we want to talk about. I think we talked about our strategy going forward, certainly over the next week.
Yeah, but we're gonna buy the dips, sell quickly, and then wait for the big one.
Yeah, and if we get grossly overextended on the upside for some reason, some news or whatever, we'll be aggressively looking to sell calls up around the 108, 110. God forbid it went to 112 or something, which I don't think it'll do, but it could. I think we'll definitely be short the market, whether we're short futures or selling puts, or selling puts to doing spreads or risk reversals or whatever we happen to be doing. And I know Gravity doesn't have options yet. That's something that hopefully will roll out maybe in the new year.
Sure.
But if you don't have options, well, we'll be looking to short the market up from that 106 to 112 area. And I'm okay to scale in too in that case, because I've got my target zone. So take a little bit of 106, it goes to 108. So my average price might be 109 or 108 or 110 or whatever. And I'm happy to wait for it to come back close to 100K if that happened. Otherwise, we're just going to keep assuming that this 100K is going to hold. If it doesn't hold, we're out. So we'll either flat or we'll get short. And I think the next spot on the downside will probably be the low 90s, high 80s for a crazy wick. And that's what I'd look for if we got aggressive.
That'll be interesting, because we'll go back into proper price discovery.
But is there going to be enough sellers to do that? Like you said, are whales really psychologically ready to unload at those prices when it was just $30,000, $40,000 higher?
The wild card here is that a huge chunk of Bitcoin is now owned by ETFs and digital treasuries. And those guys have all kinds of different covenants. And we've already seen one digital treasury sell Bitcoin to pay its bills. And there's 400 of these companies.
Sure.
So,
and if the stock market crashes, they're tied in with the trad markets, and they need to cover margin, whatever. Everything's coming down.
And if you're long Palantir, Nvidia because you think it's sensible, and you're also long Bitcoin ETF because you think it's a gamble on the future, and then your Palantir and your Nvidia dump by 25%, you're going to sell everything. You're going to sell everything, right? Because you're not going to be particularly if you're in a trading firm and you've got a manager to please. And he's going to say to you, "Okay, so I see you sold these blue chip stocks, but why did you keep this random Bitcoin stuff?" Right?
No, you lose your job.
You lose your job. Yeah, they'll sell it all. Yeah.
It's just you don't want margin calls. You don't want to get forced liquidated, and you'll just be sell. And the thing is you can always rebuy.
Yeah,
you can always rebuy. And that's why I was okay. I felt there was a good chance we were going to get ragdolled and it moved down to 100. We did. We lost a little bit. That's fine. We'll get it back. But it's better to be safe than sorry, because if that was the big move and we started saying, "Oh, we're gonna scale in, you're gonna all the way to 75K or something," oh my God, it would have been a disaster, right? We'd lost all the count. So sometimes there's a time to scale in. Other times you just cut the losses quick and wait and see. So I think that's it for today. Unless you have any final thoughts.
No, that's it.
Fantastic. So everyone, happy trading, and we will catch you guys next week.